Good morning. My name is Scott. I'm an American in Thailand, and this is the first video in the This is Thailand series. It's about 7 a.m. I'm sitting outdoors in front of my home, in my fenced-in area of my home in Bangkok. And today the topic is if you're moving to Thailand for the long term, what are some of the things that you need to consider? There's a few things that people sometimes don't think about when they come here. In my opinion, there's a couple different kinds of people. There's the kind of person that comes with a company who basically takes care of everything for them and makes sure that they have a place to live and that they have their legal paperwork, their work permit and visa taken care of. There's the person who comes over as a tourist and who decides, hey, I want to live here. They're not really sure how they're going to do it, but they figure that they can make enough to get by or to have a decent living. And then there's the people in between who maybe they've already got something set up in place where all they need to do is move over here and just bring their customers with them, and it'd be quite easy for them. But there are several issues and several things that I wanted to talk about when it comes to the trade-off. The first is obviously you have to be able to make a living here, and if you're earning money, say in the U.S. like me, and then you come over to here. As a foreigner, your options for employment are, comparatively, they are limited. There's a long list of jobs and job descriptions that foreigners are not allowed to do here. So if you're a foreigner and you come to Thailand, your job options are immediately limited. I've done just about everything. I've taught English, which is fairly common here. I've sold things on the internet. I've sold on eBay, websites. I have worked as a journalist here and got a press card. That was very nice. I've worked for a boxing promoter, as a boxing trainer, as a matchmaker. I've been in boxing management. There's been quite a few things that I've done here, and basically, I've been a writer for different magazines. Like I said, I'm a journalist, but in some cases, I was doing photojournalism. So there are some options for people who are creative. The thing is, if you're not the kind of person, if you're the kind of person who has to have a job that the company is taking care of you and you don't have to worry about how you're going to make your living, well, maybe working overseas is not going to be your thing, unless you can get a company to sponsor you, or you can just transfer with your company over here to Bangkok or to Thailand. So that's one thing, is the employment issue. The other thing is that no matter how hard you try, no matter how well you speak Thai, or really no matter what, you will never be Thai. So as a foreigner, you will always be an outsider. I have a wife that I've been married to legally for 10 years, who I've been with for almost 14 years. We've got 2 children together, and although I am still, although I'm a foreigner, there is some, there are some benefits to having a family here, and you do get taken in. The Thais do treat you well. They don't treat you poorly, but you will never be one of them. So if you have a problem walking down the street with people looking at you or saying something, then you either get used to it or go home. Okay, so that's one thing. You don't have the same rights as a foreigner, and I've heard it before. When you're driving, if you have an accident, you're going to be charged. You're going to be found to be at fault because you're here in their country, and if you weren't here in their country, there wouldn't have been an accident. Many years ago, I lived in Thani, which is the northeast of Thailand. I was on a motorcycle. I was driving a motorcycle. It was a little 110cc Honda, and there was another motorcycle coming straight at me. You know, in the opposite lane, there was a motorcycle coming, and they were pulling out in front, pulling out into the lane, and they were looking. The driver was looking behind him. Now he had two people behind him on the bike, sitting behind him on the bike. Plus he had a child sitting with one of the people. So there was 4 people on the motorcycle. And he was looking behind him. They were all waving goodbye to somebody. Now he pulled out, and he pulled out too far, and he pulled out right in front of me, and I had nowhere to go. There was another car coming, so I couldn't move over. I wasn't able to avoid him. And I smashed right into him. Now, he's in my lane. And they actually said to me, how much money are you going to pay? And I said to them, I'm not paying you anything. I got angry. This is, you know, maybe 2 years into being here, and I was just livid because here I was, scratched up, banged up, bruised, and bleeding, and you know, the motorcycle was smashed. My motorcycle was smashed up, and they're asking me to give them money. And I said, I'm not giving you anything. Go call the police. And they did. They called the police. And I had my girlfriend at the time come and help me out, which was a good thing. And she said to me, listen, let me take care of it. I said, well, don't give them any money. I don't want to give them any money. They were wrong. You know, here, it's not always about what's wrong, what's right or wrong. And, you know, to me, it's totally wrong. You pull into oncoming traffic, and you know you're at fault. I mean, to me, it's cut and dry. But you know, hey, it is what it is. And she ended up saying to them, "We'll give you 2,000 baht." And I yelled at her. I said, "No, don't give her anything." She said, "Listen, the police came, and the police said, we don't want anything to do with it. You work it out between yourselves." And I said, well, I'm not giving them any money. And they said, well, you need to work it out. So I had to pay 2,000 baht to them, and I had to pay to get the motorcycle fixed. Now, as far as I was concerned, they should have paid me to fix my motorcycle, and just because I crashed into them and I almost died. But you know, like I said, this is Thailand, and this is the way things work. So your rights are not the same. You know, the last thing that I wanted to talk about is how moving to Thailand for the long term affects your friends and your family and your friendships with people back home. I've really only got 2 or 3 good friends back in the United States, and I've got 2 good friends here in Thailand, and then I have my family. I have my family, my parents are back in the U.S., and my sister, and I have my family here, my wife and my kids. So I have a small circle, but it's a small, like, trusted circle who I can count on. And for me, that's enough. I find it a little difficult to meet people in Bangkok who are going to become long-term friends. First, because you know, a lot of people after a year or 2, they decide, well, it's time for me to go home, or they can't make it, or it's not what they thought it was, so they end up going back home. So it's a transitory place for some people. Also, you know, you have to be careful of, you know, it goes with anyone. It's not only in Thailand, but you need to be careful who you call your friends. And, you know, here in Thailand, you know, there's a lot of people that will do anything to stay here, legal or illegal. So for me, it's making friendships is a slow process. So, you know, that's one thing. Your friends and family, they'll remember you. You know, you might go back and everything was just the same as it was before. It's like you never left. You still know each other. You care for each other. But you're not going to be in contact with them. So you got to be comfortable with that. And you know, some people get homesick and they don't want to go back home, or they miss their families, or whatever it is. So that's something else to do. Anyhow, I hope you've enjoyed this first video. In the near future, I plan on going out on the street and going to the grocery store and to the mall and updating, renewing my visa, going places with my kids and videotaping it and putting it online as part of the series. So I do hope you come back and continue watching my videos, and I hope you like them. If there's anything that you want to see or that you'd like to know, please feel free to email me, send me a message, or post a comment in my YouTube account with this video. And until the next time, I will see you later. Or as they say here, jerk out of mine.